ingredients for this recipe are very straightforward and simple. We will be using 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, as well as half a pound of salt pork. We opted for smoked ham hock. And then we will be using 1 cup of onion. In this case we've used 2 because we're doubling the recipe. 2 pounds of beans instead of 1. It calls for 1 serrano or 1 jalapeno chili. However, we're using a habanero with a mixture of serranos and some African peppers that I fermented from my garden this summer. Should add a nice kick to the overall recipe. 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, a half of teaspoon of cumin seed, and 5 teaspoons of table salt. Very straightforward, and this is going to give you the authentic Frijoles recipe that you've all come to love. Okay, we've had our 2 pounds of pinto beans soaking today for about 7 hours, and normally you soak them overnight, so I'm going to speed up the process, and this is a trick that you can use at home by using a pressure cooker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the beans into the pressure cooker, and I'm going to pressure cook them for about 5 minutes because they've already been soaking. Now keep in mind, when I say 5 minutes, it's going to take about 6, 7, 8 minutes for the pressure to get up to 15 pounds, which we're going to be cooking the beans at. And then from that point, we're going to cook them for 5 minutes. We're going to turn the flame off and then let the pressure cooker reduce pressure naturally, which is probably going to take another 10 minutes. So when I say that we're going to pressure cook these for 4 or 5 minutes, in actuality, it's probably going to be 20 minutes from the time that it gets to temperature, and then I reduce the steam naturally, and by that time my beans will be supple and ready to go into the pot. So let's add our beans into the pot, and I'm going to use this pot for the whole process. So first I'm going to use them to soften up the beans through pressure cooking. So I'm just going to take the beans that have already been rinsed once and throw these into the pot. So, and I'm going to have to add back some water. You want to make sure that the beans are fully submerged in water. And a little safety note, make sure that you follow the safety instructions on your pressure canner. You don't want to generally overfill it. There's marks inside here over 2/3 full. So let's add back some more water. And now, I don't know if you can see this, probably not. The beans are covered by about 3 inches of water. Probably can't see that, but. So we're going to go ahead and bring this baby up full blast. Secure the lid. By lining up the V's wherever those are. Oh, I got it backwards. Backwards. So line the V's up. Turn the pot around so I can see my gauge. And what we're going to do is generally you want to cook this full blast until steam starts coming out of the steam vent. And then we'll add our weight to this, bring it up to 15 pounds of pressure, let it go for about 4 minutes, and then turn the heat off. I don't think we gave this ham hock its due diligence. When we get it from the butcher, this is a smoked ham hock, and if you can see the lines there, that's where they take the bandsaw and they call it cracking the hock. So you get all of that marrow down in that bone incorporated into your dish. So when you go in, And get a smoked ham hock, which I highly suggest when you're making beans. Have them crack it for you. Just a little tidbit that might help your beans come out as good as these are. We're getting there. 5 more pounds. So I'll probably turn it off at about 13 pounds. It'll graduate up to 15 and start to decline from there. Now we're letting the steam out of our pressure cooker. Removing the weight off of there. And then we'll add ingredients into the pot and cook our frijoles. Alright, fans and subscribers, let's get this going. So, our pressure's gone down to 0. We should be able to safely remove this. Always be careful because it's under pressure. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take our onions in the pot. Those smell good. Can you smell them from home? Then, here, let's just bring everything over here, shall we? Let's go ahead and add our chilies. Look at those. That's gonna have a kick. Now, when you're making authentic Mexican frijoles, they should have a kick, don't you think? Not a lot, but a little bit. Our fennel seeds. Salt. Oh. Oops. You don't want to add your salt. That's one thing I forgot about since I've never been cooking them. You want to add your salt. I'm going to go ahead and try to scrape that out. That's kind of a faux pas. I mean, it probably is not a big deal because I've already softened my beans. But generally you want to add your salt towards the end of the cooking process when your beans are soft, because it can prevent your beans from softening. And some people will be like, well, why am I soaked my beans and I did this and my beans are still too firm? It's the salt. Don't do that. So we learn from our mistakes. That was one. So here is our cracked, beautiful, lovely ham hock. It's smoked. If you could smell this, your mouth would be watering right now. So let's go ahead and put this in. This is a little much. I mean, generally I don't add this much ham hock. However, I do have 2 pounds, so it's going to make a lot of beans, and Brandy likes a lot of meat in her beans, so it all works out. So we've got the marrow, we've got the smoke ring, we've got the fat. I mean, this, people, is where the rubber meets the road when it comes to frijoles, in my opinion. Let's put those in there. Add garlic, because everyone knows that there's no meal complete without garlic. Goose. Okay. And last but not least, we're going to go ahead and add our olive oil. Not a lot, just a little bit. And there we go. And we're going ahead and turn the flame back on. Give it a nice stir. And I can already tell there's not enough water in here. The beans are covered. The ham hocks are showing above the water line. And over time, we're going to cook this probably for on low, I don't know, at least an hour. So we're going to go ahead and add some more water. Take it off the bake. This will be another video for all those that are trying to quit smoking or don't like smoking or enjoy vaping. I make all my own juice, and I've got some other people on YouTube that are really good at what they do. Yeah, I was talking and not paying attention, so we kind of got a little spillage there, but that's what being in the kitchen's all about. Okay, so let's give her another look. So now we've got a lot more liquid in here because these beans are going to soak it up as they cook, even though they're pre-soaked. So generally what I like to do is add about 4 or 5 inches of water on top of the level of the beans. So if my beans are here, I add about 4 or 5 inches on top without a lid, and I let it cook down. As it cooks down, I'll check it in an hour or so and maybe add a little more water, and through that process the flavors are just going to gel in this recipe. This is a traditional Mexican frijole recipe. And then I'm going to show you the secret of why do I cook 2 pounds of beans. It's me and my girlfriend. We don't have 10 people here. Are we going to eat 2 pounds of beans tonight? God forbid. No, we're not. But we're going to go ahead and store those beans, and I'll be happy to share that with you in another video. We do a lot of recipes, store the food, and then when you come home from work, you have easy access to quick meals, whether it be a bean and cheese burrito, whether it be beans with steak. We're also going to do some bush style beans, pork and bean style. I haven't tried that yet. And so when you can pull things out of the freezer when you get home, if you've got kids, if you've got a busy work life, cooking in bulk really helps to make your life a lot easier. So we try to do that as much as possible, even though I work from home. Oh, if you could just smell this right now, it smells absolutely wonderful. So we're going to go ahead and let this cook down, and when it's done, I'll show you the end result, as well as taking the frijoles and making them into refried beans. Let me show you the consistency. Let me show you what's going on inside this pot. So in hindsight, I wouldn't pressure cook them at all after 7 hours, or I would have maybe soaked them for 2 hours and then pressure cooked them. So, you know, cooking's always learning, learning's always cooking. It's just the way it goes. So what I'm trying to do now is just without a lid on, a couple things. I'm trying to get this ham hock here to fall off the bone, get all the meat to fall off the bone, and cook off some of this water. Now, at some point, if I turn off the flame, it will condense and the liquid will become a little bit thicker.
Very pleased with the way these frijoles came out. The consistency is perfect. You can really taste the ham hock, the smoked ham hock coming through with the garlic, and it's going to accent this chicken tamale very well. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and this helps you make a nice pot of frijoles for you and your family this winter. Don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.